Look at how hot
it's that time. It's that time. In case you haven't noticed, this is called the show called Box Seats. Now, for those of you who have never seen the show before, this is the show where we talk sports, we talk comedy. We sitting up here with two of the best comics in the game. We got two of New York's greatest, finest. I love these two guys. It's Talent and Fig. How you guys doing today? I appreciate you.
I'm good, brother. I feel good. I'm anytime I get to be on with you and the GM comedian Fig, I'm good.
You already know what time it is. It's time for Box Seats, baby. We ready to get down.
Okay, now here's the thing. We had a great weekend. We got a lot of sports to talk about. We're gonna get right in. And I think there's several things that happened over the weekend. Some Friday to this morning, Friday night, I was gonna call, Talent on the hotline and say, Talent, man, Portland, my man Dame Lillard got injured. But what happened was last night or yesterday afternoon, Luka Doncic turned out to be a beast. At 21 years old, he hit a 3-point shot, and he just he won over the entire nation. So I gotta ask you. I'm gonna start off the show with you, Talent, and ask you, man, do the Dallas Mavericks actually have a chance to upset the LA Clippers in this series? What you think?
I still don't think so.
Okay.
With all due respect, I got to say that first. With all due respect to the champion campaign that this young man is running right now, he's running a blasphemy, anti-blasphemy campaign, because everybody's saying, "Oh, give this guy 2 years in the league, give him 3 years in the league." He's saying, "No, I'm that guy now." Now, personally, he's proved his point, but it still takes a team to be the team. So I think he's going to get his, and we're going to all leave this series with the ultimate respect for him, and going into next year, hats off. Ain't nobody going to doubt him anymore. But I just think team-wise, can everybody come and join him to override the Clippers? I don't think so.
Okay. Fig, what you think?
Man, let me tell you something. I want to address the elephant in the room right now. I'm beautiful. Yeah, that's what. Anyway, we know what I'm trying to say. Yo, and we gotta give Luka Doncic a new name. His new name is Cool Hand Luke.
Okay.
That's Luka Doncic. Yo, he bringing it along. You understand what I'm trying to say? But I don't think that Dallas is going to be able to beat the Clippers, because what I actually saw during the game was the Clippers came out very serious and they put it on them. They went up by over 20 points, and then it was like, we got this. And they sort of they downshifted and went into cruise control, but Dallas kept playing. And I'm really upset about the way that Dallas was playing, because the guys that showed up were ex-Knicks. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Trey Burke and Hardaway act like they had a game on Sunday, which made me very upset. I'm like, because if y'all would have did that on the Knicks, we could have been somebody. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? We could have made some noise. Tim Hardaway is doing his thing. Trey Burke is doing his thing. Now, the unicorn didn't play, but the game before the last, he was playing his behind off, and he's also an ex-Knick. Do you know what the Knicks could be if these guys continued to play like that on a consistent basis, and they were still in New York? Now you went to Dallas with Mark Cuban, and all of a sudden you're giving yourself a game?
Right.
Where's the game from?
Yeah.
You must have went to that famous sporting goods store. You know what the name of that store is, don't you, tell it? It's Dick's. Because that's all it is. It's Dick's Sporting Goods.
Hey, Talent, Paul George seems to have disappeared, bro. So if you're in the locker room right now and you're playing for the Clippers right now, man, are you upset? Are you saying, bro, what's going on with you right now? Because for the last couple of games, Kawhi has been carrying him. I mean, and then on top of that, he missed a lot of shots on that game. And I mean, what if you in the locker room right now, what are you leaning over the top saying to Paul, or if you're saying anything at all?
Well, I think that they're close enough to do it like me and Fig would do, right? If this was a 7-show series and me and Fig up there and I bomb one night or Fig bomb one night, they're close enough to laugh at that and say, man, you stunk the gym up tonight. You missed blah, blah, blah. But they're also all-star players. And all-star players, as we know, bounce back. They have bad games, but if they're really true all-stars, they always bounce back. Look at LeBron. We were just talking about LeBron with his little 10 points, and then he comes back with 38.
Right.
So these great players, which Paul George is in that conversation, they will bounce back. They're going to have these. You're going to have three type of games. You're going to have a game where Kawhi's carrying it and Paul George is bumming. You're going to have a game where Paul George carrying it, Kawhi has an off game. You're going to have a game where everything's sinking and they playing together across the board. Those are the three type of games you're going to have no matter what. We just don't know which night we're tuning in. It's not like a movie with a trailer like tonight. He drops 5. You're not going to see that. You're just going to watch the game go, damn, he only had 5 rebounds. He only had 5 points. He only had this many turnovers. You know what I mean? So I think that they're cool enough to laugh at that and talk about that like two buddies and joke on it. But also, as all-stars, I think he steps back into play, and you see Paul George from yesteryear.
So using that analogy, sounds like you think they're going 7.
I say that to say that this is over in 6.
Okay.
6.
Okay. So in other words, Dallas ain't winning another game, and that's it. Because it's
that's pretty much it. That's it.
Okay, Fake, what you think, man? You think Dallas gonna win another game?
I want the same thing. Paul George is an all-star, and he's a shooter. Mm-hmm. And shooters go through slumps. This ain't the first time we've seen a shooting slump. Shooters shoot. And the only way to get out of a slump is to keep putting it up. I'm sure that's what his teammates is telling him. I'm sure that's what Doc Rivers is telling him. Just keep shooting, man. Eventually, you're going to catch a rhythm and you'll be back in there because before the playoffs actually officially started, when they was playing the regular games, Kawhi was off a little bit and Paul George was lighting it up. So it's only a matter of time before he gets his game back together and they start playing. But like Talon said, man, I think this is over in 6. I really do. I think it's over in 6 because what happened the last game was embarrassing. I'm sure the Clippers were embarrassed and they like, yo, you know what? Enough is enough. I mean, because I thought that the one that they got was going to be enough, but to have Luka drop that 3-pointer with time running down to win the game and the way they were celebrating, like they had won the NBA championship. I was waiting for the champagne myself. I was like, there's no champagne over this shot because that's the way people, people, please. It's the first round.
Well, to be honest, we all know that Dallas wasn't even expected to win the game. A lot of people was not even they were going to win the game. But since you speak of embarrassing, let's go to embarrassing, okay? Embarrassing is you get swept in the playoffs. You know what I mean? And the Sixers got swept, and nobody expected them to get swept. I don't think one person has picked them to say that they're going to lose 4 games. I don't think nobody saw that. But since they got swept this morning, right? If you're the owner of the Philadelphia 76ers, tell them, do you fire Elton Brand and the coach? You fire the coach. You got to make some changes. They got $30 million on their roster, per player. Like they're hanging out there, man. What do you do with the roster? Because you got a long season and the process ain't working. What you doing, Talon?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I'm not doing. I'm not doing what Embiid did. Embiid did that. He did that innuendo in the post-game interview of kind of like you lean into, hey, fire this guy. You know what I mean? Like they're asking questions about it, and he's like, well, let's just say whatever happened, we're friends. I'm like, don't even touch that. Like that's taboo. I'm not, to be honest with you, again, I go back to what I said before. I'm not really looking to fire anybody. I'm looking to trade. Mm-hmm. I'm looking to trade and restructure some things because, again, in defense of management and coaching, you had some injuries you had to deal with.
Right.
You didn't have a full team. I know we're all concentrated on Embiid and Simmons, but there's more to a team than that. And he was dealt some little knickknacks along the way that, you toughed it out, in other words. Mm-hmm. I just think what he had left didn't leave it on the floor for him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know what I mean? So I'm not firing nobody, and all the pieces that I would change comes from players. I think there's a loss of player-coach respect going on.
Mm-hmm. And holding people accountable.
That's just something I'm getting. That's a vibe I'm getting.
Right, and holding players accountable for the mistakes that they made on the court.
Yeah, when people throw the word accountable around, like that's not even really in a player's vocabulary. So when the players start throwing it around, there's a lack of respect somewhere in there. And certain words you would leave to your coach and executives to say, but now the players are saying it, something wrong.
Right. Okay, Fig, what you think, man?
Hey man, I have to go on the other side of town on this one, man. I say the coach didn't they didn't even, to me it just wasn't even respectable. I'm getting rid of the coach, and Elton Brand.
Speak on it, GM.
Brand is gonna have a lot of time to eat some Brand cereal.
He's out
His
there.
team played like they was full of, you know what, a lot of malarkey. And they're going to need some Brand to let some of that stuff go. So I'm letting go of Brand, and I'm letting go of the coach because they played like garbage. If you're a coach and you got a 7-foot monster and you can't convince him to play in the paint or below the free throw line, then as far as I'm concerned, you're not doing your job. And you let a small team beat you 4 games in a row. And I don't even think there was a game where they were afraid that the Sixers could possibly win. It didn't look like they was going to win any game. There wasn't even a threat. And you know why else you got to put it on Elton Brand? Because he let 2 real good guys go. He let go of Jimmy Butler and J Redick.
Yeah.
They let go of Redick and he let go of Butler. And 2 of those guys, and that's what they were missing. They were missing shooting. And both of these guys shoot. So now you kept the wrong guys. That's the problem. You drafted the wrong guys. You kept the wrong guys. I'm like, everybody, if we're supposed to wait on the process, you're getting rid of guys that you should have kept, and you're keeping guys that you should have got rid of. Like, there's no symmetry. There's no cohesion.
I will give you this. If they had kept Jimmy Butler and they had kept JJ Redick, especially the way Butler is playing right now for Miami, I think they would have definitely won at least 2 or 3 games in there. They might even tip the series a little bit because Jimmy Butler's a dog, like how you guys say it. But let's switch up. Talent. Brooklyn got swept also by Toronto. Except I don't think many people expected Brooklyn to even win too many games. That wasn't too much of a thing. But Kyle Lowry got injured, during the series. So with that being said, if you're Toronto and you're moving forward in the new series coming up with the Celtics, are you thinking, are we in trouble? What are you thinking right now if you're the Toronto Raptors as they move on after the series? Or you still think, Toronto, he's going to come back and play and he, ain't nothing different. What's your thoughts?
Well, I think if you're Toronto, I think you're very confident but not cocky.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now Toronto sits in a good, probably the best position in East and West right now as far as comfortability. I think they're feeling real comfortable, you know what I mean? But not cocky to the point where that gets in the way. You know what I'm saying? I think that the type of win they got, they expected that. They worked hard for it. But missing a guy like Kawhi still keeps you in workhorse mode, if that means anything. So I think going forward, you just don't see them taking teams lightly. Like they play for real from beginning to end.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And a lot of dudes ain't got no haircut on this, so you gotta respect that.
So Fig, with that being said, you heard what Talent said, right? Toronto has not beat the Celtics 1 time out of 4 chances during the season. In the bubble, they were getting blown out by almost 30 points, and then they ultimately lost by 11 or 12 points at the time. Everything else. Do you feel the same way, like what Talent said, and still feel that they should be confident, going into the series with the Celtics, or should they be concerned because they really didn't beat the Celtics too bad at all this year? Same thing, same question.
Well, look, the thing is this. The regular season and the playoffs is 2 different seasons, 2 different styles of basketball. You see these guys 7 games in a row in the bubble. It's not like they got to travel or any stuff like that. And they're still the defending champs. I mean, listen, I think Toronto gets a lot of disrespect, you know what I mean? Because they're still the defending champs and they got a champion's heart. They've been there before. They've been in some tough battles. And a lot of those guys are still there. I think Kyle Lowry needs to talk to Luka Doncic's doctor and figure out what Luka did with his ankle, because he came back and dropped 30-some points in the game-winning 3-pointer. Kyle Lowry needs to talk to that dude and find out what he did with his ankle. Because, an ankle is an ankle. You understand what I'm saying? And Kyle is smaller than Luka, so he don't have as much weight on his ankle as Luka does. So, I think that Kyle needs to he need to come back because Luka came back.
Okay.
Right.
Last question before we bring in our guest. I want to ask you, both of you. Toronto is playing the Celtics, and everybody's picking it as the most even series, right? Town, who you got?
I'm gonna go with Toronto.
Okay.
I think Toronto, bro. The same thing, like I said in the beginning. They're one of my top teams. Is between it's them and Milwaukee to lose.
Okay.
Like it's their whole conference to lose. You know.
Okay.
Obviously, I picked Greek Freak and them a little over them because of size, but Toronto, them two teams, I don't think before they got to see each other or get into that, I don't see them losing. You know what I mean? Toronto all day. Again, this series right here with Boston, 5-6 game series.
Okay. All right, Fig, before we bring in our guest, you talk to me real fast. Tell me who you think. Who you got? Toronto?
7. If Kyle Lowry comes back 7 games, and I think Toronto can eke it out. If he's not 100, if he's not, at least 90% of himself, I think Boston is able to get him.
Okay, with
7 games though. I think it's going at least 7. I don't see it going less than 7. That's if Kyle Lowry could come back and play.
Okay, with that being said, we're getting ready to introduce our guest for the day. Today's guest is my man, Miss Chris Handles Franklin. Chris, we appreciate you joining the show. I don't know why I don't see you, but I can see at the bottom. But Chris, can you see us? Okay, let me add him back in. Chris,
There you go, right there. Let's see what happens.
He probably got that
buffering.
He got the buffering magic going. You see the buffering?
Yeah. Okay,
buffering.
You got to cut his You got the buffering magic happening.
There you go.
There you go.
Mr. Chris Handles Franklin, Harlem Globetrotters. Man, I got to say, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you.
Happy to be on.
Okay, now, Chris, we're going to jump into, obviously you being your career. We're going to jump into how you got on the Harlem Globetrotters. I'm really excited about that. I even want to ask you some questions about street ball and pro ball. But right now, man, the hot topic that everybody's talking about is Luka is a beast. And, of course, NBA playoffs and things like that. So let me just jump in real fast with you before we get to you and things like that. You sitting back as a professional player, when you watch the games like this and you see something that Luka does at 21 years old, does that even blow your mind? Are you impressed by that?
Oh, man, he's phenomenal. I mean, I think it's one thing about making those shots consistently throughout the game, but when you're making it on the line like that, it's reminiscent of something we haven't seen since Kobe, in my opinion. I'll never forget, I was at a game, man. We did a halftime show of a game. This was before I was a Globetrotter. We were in Memphis. There was 2 seconds left. I was sitting courtside. Everybody in the arena knew Kobe Bryant was getting the ball. Didn't make a difference. He caught it and scored. Mm-hmm. And I think it was just watching that, watching what he did in Dallas. Everybody knew he was getting the ball. He got it and scored like that. I mean, that's amazing, man.
That's how he does. Now let's jump into, obviously, we're talking to you because you're joining the show. We appreciate you joining the show. How does a person, this is what I've seen the Harlem Globetrotters a lot of times. How does a person even become a Harlem Globetrotter? How did you do that? How did that happen?
Ironically, I never wanted to do anything else in life since I was 6 years old. I saw him on cartoons, on Scooby-Doo, and knew I either wanted to solve mysteries or play for the Globetrotters. So, I'm living a dream. But for each player, it just depends on the player. Some players are drafted out of college. We're always looking for the best of the best. Best shooters, dunkers, dribblers. And for me, I had a longer path. I was known, I tried to get on the team and it didn't work out. So I worked at Avenues, was known as one of the best dribblers in the world. I won the world's best dribbler contest. Nike said they wanted to do commercials. I filmed my very first Nike commercial, signed a commercial with a contract with Nike, and eventually the Globetrotters came looking for me.
Wow, that's amazing. Talent. I know you got a question for your man.
Well, first of all, what's up, big homie?
What's going on, fam?
That's my dude right there. And just to give Handles some background, Frank is, the founder of Humor Mill TV and magazine. Comedian Fig, you haven't met him yet, but I bring comedians to Harrisburg where he resides every month until the shutdown happens. So we'll be getting back to that and you'll meet him. I want to know as a Harlem Globetrotter right now, because you know me, I do my news show sometime, and I realized one of your coworkers one of the Globetrotters, finally spoke out about what was going on with the racial tension of a television interview in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing like a little setup, and they was throwing fruit, trying to be funny, like bananas or whatever case may be. So I told you, I said, dude, you got to come on the show and tell me what the climate is, because that happened in January. But we're just now, he's speaking out, and we're just now talking about it right now. Is it cool? Is he feeling better? Has it affected the team?
Well, as far as the team's concerned, we've been rooted in the history of racism. We started way back in 1926. That's a couple years off of the Red Summer, where blacks were massacred throughout the country. So we started in a racial climate. You figure back then they didn't allow black players to play in the NBA. The Minneapolis Lakers, to just give you some history, the Minneapolis Lakers killed the NBA. They had George Mikan, ran through the NBA. They played the Globetrotters. They lost. 1948.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Then they did it again. Globetrotters beat them again in 49, and it helped integrate the NBA. So the first African American to sign with the NBA was Nat Sweetwater Clifton with the Knicks, a Harlem Globetrotter. So I mean, our history the whole way through has been one that we've had to, endure that. Having to use the Green Book and stay in hotels, and play in those cities, but couldn't stay in the hotels. So as an organization, it's nothing new to our organization that we haven't dealt with in years. Right. I think right now, man, looking at the video, I can't speak from his perspective, but looking at the video was definitely irresponsible and lacked cultural competence. So, I think it's a great time for people, period, to be empowered and speak up when you don't feel comfortable. And I think that's what my teammate did. And we back.
I appreciate that. Fig, you got a question for him?
Yeah, man, I love the history of the Globetrotters. I actually remember, I believe I saw a documentary where they was talking about, how good the Globetrotters were, and the powers that be was talking about, oh, yeah, man, they not good basketball players. And it was like, well, look, let's play them against a regular team and see what they could do. And the Globetrotters stood up strong, and they beat them. They beat the fire out of them. You know what I mean? But listen, you got a name like Handles. I got to know, what is the skill that the Globetrotters got you for? Is it your handles, or do you have some sort of trick shot? Because I go back in the days when you had Curly Neal and Meadowlark Lemon and all them boys when they were playing. So what is your thing, man? Is it your handles that's so dope, or do you have that trick shot where you can like throw a sky hook from like half court or something like that? Like, what does the handles man do?
Well, I got my name Handles because the way I handle the basketball. I'm known as one of the best dribblers in the world. I won a contest with Nike that kind of crowned me years ago, one of the best dribblers in the world. And so I'm known for my handles, dribbling the ball. So that has definitely always been something that's been synonymous with me and my name, of course. But I'm also in the Guinness Book of World Records for the furthest on the knees backward shot. So that's usually a shot, So that's usually a shot I shoot from half court. For the Guinness Book of World Records, I did it from like the opposite top of the key, over my head, backwards on my knees.
Wow, yo, man, you're a man after my own heart, because you got crazy handles, and I know you don't know, but me, the comedians, we used to play basketball a lot, and I was known for having handles too, except mine was love handles. I had love.
Hey, Chris, let me ask you a question, man. From the perspective of people who sit down and they don't know the difference between street ball and professional ball and everything else like that, when you, being from a Harlem Globetrotters point of view, can you explain to the audience out there, can you sit there and say, listen, this is the reason why street ball guys don't make it into NBA? Can you explain that out to them?
Well, I think they're totally different. I just think that the NBA is so elite. I think it's further. It's not even like the NFL. It's only a couple of spots on a team. And then it's only a couple of spots that free up every single year on those teams that are already full. So, I just think the NBA, of course, is elite. I think what we do as Harlem Globetrotters is, we got some of the best dribblers, dunkers, and shooters in the world also. But we're more about bringing people together, about having fun, about the crowd. You know what I mean? So I think it's that kind of difference. of course, I came up in the era, man. My commercial freestyle was the commercial who brought streetball to the forefront. So that was my first Nike basketball commercial, and that commercial was actually in the African American History Museum forever.
Wow,
and
nice.
It won 13 awards, including an ESPY award, and just started this big surge of streetball. And so, I mean, I think it's just totally different. I think the thing about streetball is anybody can do it, anybody can play. Not anybody can play in the NBA. And you have some greats like the Rayford Alstons and some of those players who've been able to make the transition from the playground to the NBA.
Right.
Well, that's a nickname we was giving Luca this week. You know, it skipped to my Luke.
Yeah.
or from the movie Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah. Yeah, we was doing that. Okay, baby, I know our time is getting short with you, but I just want to ask you a couple more questions, man. First thing I ask you, looking at the NBA playoffs right now, who you got winning the whole thing? My man Talent over there, I think he might be on to something. He got Portland taking the entire thing. You know, Fig, who you say you had, Fig?
Man, I got the Clippers, believe it or not.
Right, and I got the Clippers too. I'm not a Clippers fan, but I think they're gonna take it. Now, you come from your perspective, who you got taking the whole thing?
Well, one thing's for certain, being in the bubble, it evens the playing field. Right. So it's no home field advantage. So it's straight ball. I mean, if I had to guess, really, Portland's playing phenomenal, but I just can't go against LeBron. You know what I'm saying? So I got LeBron coming out the West, just because you know, I'm a little biased. Actually, my third commercial was with LeBron James.
Get him out of here! Get him out of here, yo!
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna have to ride with LeBron. But then you know, coming out the East, I think Toronto's playing better than anybody, man. So I like to say, I like to think it'd be Toronto and LA, with LA winning that matchup.
Nobody's picking Houston. I mean, not that, you know, I expect more people to pick Houston because Houston's playing, but you know, to hear it coming from a professional like yourself, I guess Talent, everybody believes like you do, that, like what you said the other day, that Houston is just never gonna get over that hump, right? So
I just don't think they play good enough defense in Houston. I like the team, but you got to play D to win in the league. And if your D's not on point, it's going to be tough for you to get out of there.
Right. They all got little players. All their players are little.
Yeah.
So can you tell us out there, before you wrap up and roll out, can you tell us out there what else you got going on, what we can expect, and how to follow you on social media?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm Chris Handles on social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, ChrisHandles, Chris Handles. For me, man, I do a lot of stuff right now in the downtime with my foundation. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I just had a free camp for kids that was virtual. Good friend of mine, New York City legend, Strickland. Talk to my kids, man. He actually was at my very first camp. It's been 18 consecutive years. And he came back and answered questions of all the kids. And that was cool. Then we had a surprise visit. Kyrie Irving spoke to our kids, man. So that was phenomenal. My buddy A-Train, man, was also a New York City legend. And me and him in the commercials together and all that. Every year we do a camp for kids. So we provided, you know, free basketballs, free cones so they could do the drills, shirts, masks, book bags, all for kids. So that was cool. But we do a lot of different community work. So looking forward to doing more of that, and then looking forward to getting back with my man Talent. I think what Talent does is amazing, man. I always try to bring great things to my city. You know, I traveled to every single state in 84 countries around the globe. So with my own hometown, I always wanted to bring something positive back to it. And I think what myself, my partner Boots, and my man Talent has been able to bring to my area, Harrisburg, PA, has been phenomenal.
He downplaying it. It's the biggest thing popping in Pennsylvania. We call it Weekend Wednesdays. They take a Wednesday out of every month, and they bring this stupid big comedy extravaganza, and they've had everybody in the building. Matter of fact, before we got shut down, it was supposed to be Faison Love was going to be our headliner coming up, and then everything got shut down. But shout out to Boots, shout out to Handles for doing that for Harrisburg, because that's one of my first cities I traveled to in this comedy game almost 30 years ago. So shout out for you bringing it back home, bro.
Oh, man, it's love, man. Love.
Harrisburg, PA.
Sir, thank you for taking out the time. We appreciate you. We would love to bring you back again and talk more about your foundation. And then, of course, once the virus comes out, how you're expanding and everything else, we'd love to talk to you more and continue this conversation. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate
Thank you for having me, man.
handles. Thank you, brother. You take care.
Good looking, bro. I'll see you soon.
Anytime. Okay, I'll talk to you, brother.
All right. Okay, y'all,
Nice.
we can continue on with the show. I got to say that was Chris Franklin. Chris handles Franklin, Harlem Globetrotters. And if you don't know nothing about him, man, y'all got to have to do some Google research on him because his handle ain't nothing nice. Talent. We all know that boy got some handle. And
he's off the chain, man. And Fig, I seen the same documentary Fig seen. Right. And if you haven't seen the Globetrotters documentary, man, you will learn. You think you know a lot about them, but you will learn so much. That is a great, like when you talk about Black history and the economic side of things too, Fig, in there, you learn a lot of the economics of it.
Right.
Great history thing. That's great.
Yeah, it is. Definitely.
Right. I'm just impressed with that dude's handle because you think, dudes around the way, they think they got handle, they think they know what they're doing and everything. But when you see that dude's handle, you will be like, you know what? I need to go back to what I was doing because my handle ain't nothing close to his handle. But that's how the game is. Now let's continue on. Of course, we got to continue on talking about the NBA and jump back in because we were having a conversation about the Sixers and then we were having a conversation about Toronto and the Celtics and you guys had made your picks and things like that. So after you saw everything play over the weekend, anybody change their mind? Anything? Did you see anything that made you go, you know what? Brooklyn shouldn't even be in the playoffs. The Celtics look like they might make it past Toronto, or I don't think it. And Toronto's definitely coming out. Like I don't want to put words in your mouth, Talent. Tell me what you thought after watching this weekend's play. Has anything changed in your thought process of saying, you know what, these dudes is doing work? Any of your thought process?
Not at all. I mean, you know what? I'm actually seeing people playing harder. Like that's the way it's supposed to go. Like the playoffs are supposed to start, and then by game 2 and 3. People are supposed to be intense, right? So it's actually living up to what it's supposed to do. But then after you get past game 3, now that jinxy basketball mentality kicks in where now you find yourself biting your nails or fingers crossed, hoping nobody get hurt.
Right.
You want to see this play out fair and square. You don't want to win and go, oh, y'all only won because so-and-so twisted his ankle and was out the last 2 games. You want to see what people are made of right now. Now is the time. We like my ex-girlfriend used to say when we watch a movie, nothing happened for 40 minutes, then something happens. She go, now the movie started.
Fig, what you think? You think any thought process?
Man, I'm telling you, this ball with this level of basketball in the bubble, with a couple of exceptions, has been just been incredible. The competition has been incredible. You know what I mean? Going at it. Guys putting up astronomical numbers, doing stuff that we did not expect. I mean, everybody knew that Luka was good, but the thing is, what makes people rise is the level of competition. And nobody saw Dallas rising to the level of competition to be able to compete with the Clippers, man. Yeah. So they've been doing amazing. I think that, but the only thing is that I think that the Clippers we're underestimating them. I mean, even to the tune of 2 games. I think the last game, like I said earlier, is that the Clippers thought that they had the game handily. And the thing is that they had that big letdown. Now you realize going up against Dallas, if you're going to beat these boys, you're going to have to play them all 48. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to have to lock in for 48 minutes and get them out of there. Because if you leave a crack in the door, Luka, Trey Burke, Kristaps Porzingis, they coming through that crack, and Tim Hardaway, they gonna make it happen. They gonna make it happen. So you got to bring your A game 100%. Now the one thing that I do gotta say, this doggone Lakers against Portland, that last game, I don't care what nobody say. Everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, you hating." The fouls that were called, the discrepancy between the fouls, it was 43-19. I get it. But now what I'm saying is this. To me, on any given play in the NBA, you can call a foul a travel, a holding call. You can call something on every play, but sometimes the ref just let them go. Okay. Well, to me, they was letting the Lakers go, and they were calling everything on Toronto, because if you can go to the line 43 times and then the other team goes 19, that to me, that's like an unfair advantage.
All right, we're gonna pick up on that shortly, but in the meantime, we're gonna keep this show rolling like we always do. And now it's time to bring in another comedy sports analyst. He's coming from the West Coast.
Who's coming on? Who's coming on? Is that Tony?
Mr. Def Comedy Jam himself has several specials out, does his thing and everything else, coming in all the way from the West Coast. Tony Robbins, how you doing, bro?
Tony got on glasses. Look at it.
Is this thing on? You know you old when you're doing this.
I want to know whose glasses you wearing.
This is how my mama talk on Zoom. Hey. Hey, I've been hearing what y'all saying. Look, I've been hearing what y'all saying. You got a point there with them fouls. What I think what's missing with these games now is the crowd, man. Because basketball players are egotistical, man. They're not really giving that show off, because they know them cardboard pieces ain't happening, man. It's missing that. They usually show their ass. They're not really doing it. They really playing. They really want. I think in the championship it's gonna come out, but right now they just playing and I don't know. I don't see it, and I don't understand if everybody's been tested. Why do coaches wearing a mask? Why is people wearing masks? Is everybody in the bubble? Is in the bubble? What's the mask for? I don't. It's messing me up. I don't get that. I don't like it.
Hey, hold on. So I wanted to have Tone on the show because when the playoffs started, you know what came in my mind, man? And a tear fell from my eye laughing. I don't know if y'all seen that viral video where Tony was at a game. What was it, the Pelicans?
Yeah.
Tone's at the Pelican game and gets up with the warmer and just gives
and got the ball. He gave me the ball and everything.
He was in a park.
You know what? Now, every time I see basketball now, I'm like, I wouldn't have did that. I know what I'm doing.
Hey, Tony, so who you got, man? You know, I want to jump and talk some basketball with you, but who you got winning the whole thing, man? Who you got?
Houston, man.
Really?
I got Houston. Really? I think Houston gonna take it. I think Houston gonna take it all, man. I'm telling you, they ain't went nowhere. They got the same team, the same fire. They added a couple people. They ain't going nowhere, man. Houston is about to take everything, man. LeBron said that. Didn't he quote something like, "Anthony Davis is the best player he done played with"?
Yeah.
He's the best. That's all they got. I could have took Dwight Howard's place. I could have showed some shoulder. I could have took Dwight Howard's place. I'm telling you, and with the Clippers, man, they got Leonard, man. But besides his nappy braids, what's he ain't got no help, man. He ain't got no help. I'm telling you, they putting everything on him like they used to do Kobe, man. You can't just one man can't do it. I'm telling you, Houston gonna take it, man.
You think so?
Okay. I think so.
So he got Houston, and he's a Detroit fan. So.
Wait a minute, who you got? Who y'all got? Who you got, talent? Who you got?
I got Portland.
I want the Celtics, but I think
I got the Clippers.
I think the Clippers are gonna take it, but I want the Celtics. You know that.
I don't think the Clippers. I'm telling you, Kawhi Leonard is going to take one of his braids out and lose his powers. I'm telling you.
I got Portland. Dame Lillard is a beast, and Melo's over there, McCollum, and a good bench. I got Portland upsetting the Lakers.
Okay, so who are they gonna be facing in the finals to win the championship? Who's coming out the
Portland?
East? No. He said
Houston.
He got Houston. Who's Houston facing in the finals to beat them in the NBA championship? So who's coming out the East?
Celtics.
The Red
Sox.
He's crazy.
and talent, and you still a Knicks fan, talent. You Knicks for life, right?
Knicks for life, bro.
Open them up.
Me too.
I got to deal with this all the
Oh
time.
yeah, Knicks for life.
Nick for
okay.
life. So you know we can't change that, bro. I got my Mark Jackson posters over here. I'm hanging them up this week.
Taylor got his dog got on Knicks jersey. Taylor's dog's got on Knicks jersey.
Hey, Tony, if you doing what you're doing, right? Do you fire the coach at the Sixers? Because I know you seen the Sixers play. Did you get mad and be like, yo, I'm firing that dude? Or did you get mad at Joel Embiid? Because I know you was roasting.
I know. I did. I wouldn't have fired him. I wouldn't have did that. I wouldn't have fired him.
Okay.
I mean, just shit get heated, man. First of all, somebody got corona. You don't know who got the coronavirus. That's already stressed out. You don't know the nigga sneak next to you, the guy. You don't know what's happening. And so there's gonna be some tension. That didn't bother me. I've seen worse.
Right.
Yeah, Joel Embiid ain't playing good in the bubble because ain't no curry in there. They ain't got no Jamaican food. They eating sandwiches.
Right. Right.
You think, hey, Chandler, you think the Clippers, you think the Portland gonna get past the Lakers?
Yeah, I think the Portland Trailblazers, they upset the Lakers because the Lakers can't put the output they need to put out every game. So I think they squeak by them. And once you beat the guys who were favored, a lot of people favored LeBron and them when he got AD to win it. Yeah. So if I beat the guys that everybody think can win, your mental and you got that oomph, you got that momentum to drive you, man. Who else can you stop?
Is Lillard 100%?
Yes, he is.
Is he back from that finger?
He's not 100%, but he's back. He's
back. He'll be good.
Yeah, he'll be good. Yeah, he'll be good.
What do you do? Get a manicure? His fingers was messed up. What do you do? What do you mean he's back?
He's back. You know, that's how these players play. He's back, man. He doing what he got.
I thought he was messed up.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he's dangerous. He's dangerous.
Yeah, he is.
He's dangerous.
Portland. That's why he got Portland. Now, let me just ask you before we wrap up. Let me ask you. I want to ask you a football question, right? Earl Thomas got fired over the weekend, right? He got fired on his day off, Tony. So, would you say somebody else gonna pick him up, or is he done? Like done? What you think, Earl Thomas?
All I gotta say about football is get ready.
The Lions.
We're gonna play this season in our regular clothes. We ain't got time. My Lions have 2 games next to me to play.
The Lions are the Knicks in shoulder pads.
Hilarious. Hey, Tony, man, thank you for joining the show. Thank you for joining the show. What you got coming up?
I hate talent.
Oh God!
What you got coming up, man? Tell everybody what you got going on. What you got coming up? Are you still going out on the weekends? The virus stopped you too.
I'm in Oakland this weekend. Labor Day weekend. I'm in Dallas, Texas, and then I'm in Atlanta coming up in North Carolina. I'm editing my documentary now based on the word motherfucker. And don't nobody know where it come from. So I'm gonna send you and talent. Fig, I think I got your number. I'm gonna send you the small clip what I did so far, and it's gonna be another 2 weeks to edit it, and I'm putting it out. And it's crazy as hell.
How can we follow you? I'm sorry.
Add Tony T. Roberts. Tony T. Roberts. Go Lions. This year we're gonna prove something this year. Watch.
You got a special out now too?
So what?
What, you got a special out right now too?
No, I'm about to shoot it right now with no crowd, just to the camera.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm gonna shoot that, but right after Labor Day. Actually, I'm just walking in the comedy club. They're gonna let me have it. I'm gonna go have my own background. I'm just gonna talk about stuff that bothers me. It's gonna be called "Stop It." Stop doing this. It's gonna be called "Stop It."
Hey, you know where the Detroit Lions tryout set is? You know where they do tryouts? At every construction site. They go to construction sites.
Oh, Y'all are crazy, man. Y'all great. Hey, Tony, thank you for taking that time, man. We appreciate you.
The Lions done had their tryout at the zoo.
They go to construction site. They be like, he's the foreman. Oh, he's the quarterback. I love you, my brother. Thank you, man. Thank you, bro.
Appreciate you.
Goodness.
Tony is crazy.
That dude is
Amazing.
He got to work on his Wi-Fi. We got to talk to him about his Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but at least he got enough energy to kind of override the choppy.
Yeah. The
other people just be
or with his stick. All right, man. Let's talk about football now, man. I was trying to get somebody to Tony, but you know, Earl Thomas got fired over the weekend. You know, it made a huge story because you know football's getting ready to happen in 3 weeks. He's a safety. He's trying to get to the Cowboys. The Cowboys released a statement this morning. Mike Homer looked like Mike Homer was trying to say, we're not taking him. He didn't say that out and outright say it, but he just said we're set with our roster that we have now.
Okay.
Now, if
the Cowboys are set with their roster,
that's what he said. Now, talent. Let me ask you this. If you're the Cowboys, right, do you take him or where does Earl Thomas land?
Well, that don't surprise me. But if I'm the Cowboys, I'm taking him. You know what I mean? But I think that if they don't take him, there's a couple of places he could land. I mean, a lot of people could use help with their run game. You know, you got Green Bay out there. You got all these teams that, and why not? You see Brady putting together some sort of Olympic team. You know what I'm saying? He putting together an Olympic roster. Why not? They can use some running power out there. He got all his receivers, tight ends. He got some line work. He's obviously the all-star superstar quarterback. Throw something in there too. Let's get some run going.
Okay. Now, whether you agree or disagree with Talent or Fig, we about to ask Fig the same question in a second. You can hit us up and say, hey, I agree. I disagree. I think Earl Thomas is going to go here. Earl Thomas go there. You can hit us up. We got 10 more minutes left to go in the show. And then you can hit us up. We got somebody look like he's dialing in. We're going to bring him up in a second. But Fig, what do you think? Earl Thomas going to the Cowboys or who?
Man, let me tell you something, man. Earl Thomas was released for actions detrimental to the team. So that means it wasn't his first infraction.
Right.
So the Cowboys probably will pick him up because Jerry's been known to go down to the local penitentiary in Dallas and just grab the biggest dude he can find and put him on the team. He said, look, ain't nobody going to recognize you. Just put on a helmet and some pads. Nobody will know who you are. They'll be looking for you all across the country, but you'll be right here in Dallas. Ain't nobody going to find you. So that's a Jerry move. Jerry will hire a prisoner.
Okay. I will go on the record right now saying I personally would not be surprised if he landed on the Patriots because the Patriots had a safety by the name of Patrick Chung who opted out. They hurting for safety help, and everybody knows how Bill Belichick moves. He moves in silence, and next thing you know, dudes pop up. And here's the kicker. The Ravens already paid Earl Thomas. So they trying to get out of paying him. So he can go to any NFL team.
They get for free.
For free, basically.
Just like they got Cam Newton.
Hey, we'll see what happens. Now we got somebody on the line who dialed in. He wants to see. He's going to either agree or disagree. Look like his name is Stack. Stack, what's up? How you doing, man?
Stack, what up, man?
What's going on, fellas?
How you doing, man? Now, we're going to give you the floor. You probably watched the show on Facebook. Is there anything you want to agree, disagree? You want to make a statement with Fig or Talent, you know, two of New York's finest comics, or even Tony Roberts or Mr. Handles, who is in Harlem Globetrotter? The floor is yours, bro.
Well, you know, first I'm going to start off, you know, I just want to send my condolences out to Talent, bro, because you a Knicks fan, bro. I just feel so sorry for y'all. I watched the draft lottery last week. Like, damn, y'all, dang, you can't even win for losing. Literally, y'all can't win for losing. Like, for real. 8 pick?
I know.
Well, both of those dudes are New York dudes right there. So
yeah, me too.
Right. So this is New York versus Boston, basically, huh?
Yeah, basically.
Them Jets, them Giants, terrible. See, I feel sorry for both of y'all then, you know.
Hold on, what's your team? What's your basketball and football team?
You see that right there? You see that?
Oh, he's a Celtics.
Oh, no wonder you feel froggy today. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, he really so him and Frank both rode in on their broom because they got
I see what it is.
Time.
I see what it is. Hey, Fig, let's see after 2 games against the Raptors how they feel about that. Let's see if that hat turned to the back.
What make y'all like the Raptors so much, though? For real. There's no Kawhi. Kyle Lowry just twisted his ankle yesterday. He got an ankle sprain, left ankle sprain yesterday. You really picking them over Boston?
Yeah, man, because the Raptors got a movie out, Jurassic Park. Boston ain't got no movies.
We got a couple movies, man. We got The Town. We got The Departed, and that's what the Raptors about to be, departed from the playoffs.
You got the Tea Party. Y'all don't even drink coffee. You got the Tea Party.
They about to get thrown off the boat. They got to get thrown off the playoff bubble. That's like the Tea Party. That's what's about to happen. That's what's about to happen.
All right.
I definitely agree with Frank. Earl Thomas is going to end up on the Patriots because Bill Belichick is always scraping up the good talent for the low. Always. And Antonio Brown, the only person they paid. But look, we got Randy Moss for the low. When we had Hainsworth, we got him for the low. Ocho Cinco. I mean, the list goes on. They're always doing it. Always doing it.
Yeah,
Who's the hitman that the Patriots hired? Y'all hired a hitman.
Yeah,
that
was Aaron Hernandez. And
y'all hired a hitman. The only thing is they hired him to hit people from the other team. He was hitting somebody else.
He's no longer with us. So
he's no longer with us, man. Rest in peace, man. He was a great football player, though.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
He's crazy as all get out, but he was a good football player.
Stack, I believe you with one final note before we roll up out of here, man. The floor is yours. You got 60 seconds. Go ahead.
60 seconds. I'm gonna just let y'all know Boston Celtics will be in the finals against the Lakers. That's my pick right there, okay? And the reason why is this. Toronto just doesn't have enough firepower, right? Boston lost Gordon Hayward. That opens up the rotation and lets Kemba play, and Kemba is a killer. So Kemba's going to kill Toronto, and then Milwaukee is not as advertised. They're overrated, okay? And they're one-dimensional. Chris Middleton doesn't show up in the playoffs, so I don't know why y'all trust him in the Eastern Conference Finals, let alone the finals, whereas Boston got winners and closers in Tatum and Kemba, all right? And then those not even talking about Jaylen Brown and then Marcus Smart with all his winning plays. So I'm calling LA versus Boston the classic NBA matchup. And I wouldn't be mad if LA won, but because we got 17 championships and they got 16, this one's personal. So I'm rooting for Boston on this one.
Now, which LA team, Stacks? Which
talking
LA
about the
team?
Lakers, not the ones that didn't get two-piece by 21-year-old yesterday. That
LA. Well, hold up, Stacks. You gonna sit there with a straight face and tell me Marcus Smart don't need a haircut? You gonna let him play like that? You gonna let him play like that?
Yo, and some Clearasil.
Yo, whatever works, man.
Yo, Stack, thank you for taking out the time. We appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
You're gonna have to come back again. I'm gonna have to get you to come back again because I like
definitely, man. Definitely.
Yeah, he know what he's talking about. He know what he's talking
about. Thanks, Stack. Peace out.
Take care.
Yes. Frank,
yeah, you know what he's talking about.
Shout out to Stacks, man. One thing he did say, I do believe Boston's gonna make it to the finals. They're just gonna be one of the virtual crowd. That's basically what they're gonna be. They're gonna be.
No, but I would say this though: whether you agree or disagree with what he said, he knows what he's talking about. Sometimes when a person talks sports, like you could like not agree or agree, but they have no depth or nothing to back up what they believe in. The brother broke down the East and West in his last minute. He broke down, and this one don't show up, and he eat oatmeal, and his sneakers are low tops. I'm like, damn. I ain't looking at it like that, but Stacks got a point.
Hold on. You said that he eat oatmeal?
Yo, Stacks broke down everybody. He was like, yo, and this one never show up in the playoffs, and we got so-and-so, and his mother feed him oatmeal, and he don't like Snickers, so he's not himself sometimes. And I'm like, yo.
And Elton Brand eat Raisin Bran.
I was like listening. I didn't agree with none of it, but it was pointing. I was like, I ain't looking at that. Yeah, he does.
Oh my God, he eat oatmeal. Y'all are too, all right. Okay, well, that's today's show. So before we roll up out of here, you please, and I didn't even get a chance to talk about Cam Newton. I wanted to talk about Cam Newton, but we'll say that tomorrow. Because Cam looked like he's did work this weekend. Looked like he got the starting job and everything else. But it's time for us to roll up out of here. So before we roll up out of here, Fig, tell them how we can find you. And Talent, tell them how we can find you.
Well, you can find your boy F to the I to the G on social media, comedian Fig. That's F to the I to the G. If you can't spell comedian, don't follow me.
Talent, how can they find you?
Hey, it's your boy Talent, New York King of Comedy. Find me on Twitter at It's Just Comedy. You can find me on the gram. You on IG? I'm Talent, the comedian, and Facebook, King Talent Harris. Don't take it personal, baby. We here.
We got to thank all the guests. We want to thank all the guests out there for joining the show. I first want to thank Chris Handles Franklin. I definitely got to thank my man, Mr. Tony Robbins. I want to thank Stack for joining in with us. I'm Frank Holder. Download the Humor Mill app. Tune into the Humor Mill on any device. Anything else, you can't miss us. Tomorrow, we got a great show. Somebody special. I can't even release it just yet until we get the confirmation, but tomorrow's going to be dope. You are watching The Box Seat tomorrow with these two funny dudes, New York's finest. We'll see y'all then. Y'all stay on.